Welcome back to Everyday Lessons in the Bible. Today I was in Proverbs 17. This one is wisdom's virtue. So the simple life with peace, God is saying, is greater than a full house of strife. So it's better to live in peace and quiet. That doesn't mean you're not going out and spreading the word or having friendships and things like that. But it's saying, just this whole chapter is about the difference between living basically a life of peace and joy and goodness and cheerfulness versus strife and turmoil and controversy and always trying to get your point across. So it's just talking about a different way to live and that God will purify our hearts. And I think that's so important because evildoers, they like to listen to lies and they like to stir up issues and always argue with you. And in here it talks about how the riches belong to the faithful and the unfaithful don't receive a cent. So I think about that with, even in the end, how the faithful go to heaven, but the evildoers or the unfaithful don't receive anything. And then it also talks about how not to make fun of the misfortunes of others. So like if you see somebody that's going through some hard times or that are poor, and they could be poor financially, poor in spirit, like whatever their misfortunes are, we should never make fun of them in the situation that they're in. I think about, like in school where people made fun of other people, whether it was they made fun of their looks or made fun of their clothes or made fun of their situation, whatever they were going through, how wrong that is. And so to never make fun of the misfortunes of others. And then it talks about how if you are a leader, don't become one who makes a fool of yourself or does foolish things. To be a leader of good character, good morals, one who can receive correction. So even just one word, you can receive that and it break open your heart to be teachable, but evil doesn't, you could, and it refers to evil as, it also talks about them being a fool, that they could receive 100 words and they will never receive it. Like they will never get it. And so don't be a person like that, be a person that can receive correction, can be teachable, and love overlooks mistakes. And so be able to give people grace and mercy because God gives that to you, whereas evil dwells on the failures of others and it can devastate friendships. It's like when you have friendships and they do something wrong and you can't overlook it, you are destroying a friendship. And remember, what goes around comes around. And so evil, return evil for good, expect the same in return forever. So if you return evil for good, so somebody does good and you return evil for it, then you can expect to receive the same forever. So what goes around comes around is the point with that one. And don't let a quarrel start because it will be hard to stop. So like if you start a quarrel with somebody or even somebody trying to start a quarrel with you, if you don't stop it, it will be extremely difficult to stop. So in other words, don't even start it. Don't even start it. So when somebody tries to say something to you, don't even give in to that. don't even, because I have found myself in that situation plenty of times where somebody tries to provoke me. And if I give in, then I can't stop it. And it's because evil seems to win in those situations. The wicked seem to win in that situation. They just want to pick a fight, and you just can't win. No matter what you say, you're just never going to be able to get yourself out of it. So just don't even start. And so God hates it when the innocent are condemned and the guilty are acquitted. And that seems to happen very often. And I don't know really why it is, other than the innocent, we do try to control our tongue. We try to take the higher ground and speak love, and can be condemned for that. And then the guilty seem to be praised for all their evil. And that's just how it seems to happen. And God hates that for us. But we also should have, families should stick together, and friends should stick together, and the other thing it says in here is it talks about how don't give money to fools, how pointless it is. And it goes as far as to say, like, people that they need money for tuition, let's just say, so they can grow in knowledge and wisdom, that it says it's pointless to give a fool the money for that, because they're not going to grow in that knowledge and wisdom, because they're just going to keep trying to fuel their own way of thinking, and they're never going to receive true wisdom, true knowledge. Another thing it says in here is how the stupid will run up bills that they can't pay, which I have been there before, where I, added credit card debt and things like that I couldn't pay. I'm in a much better place now where I have control of my bills, control of my situation, to where I buy what I have the money for, and I don't buy what I don't have the money for. And then people that love to argue, they love to sin. And so we should preserve our heart, preserve our tongue. We should try really hard not to stir up strife and to argue, but people that love to argue are those that are living in sin. And when we can be joyful, that brings healing to our heart, to our body, and to our soul. But people that are crushed in spirit, that brings forth sickness and depression. And so we have to be really careful with which route we go, because, the Bible will say choose joy. And it's because joy is a choice. In your sorrow, in your pain, in your turmoil, in your tribulations, in the things anything that you're going through, you can choose joy. You can choose to live a life of joy in the pain, in the sorrow. And it's because of the God who lives inside of you. And so if you can choose joy, it will bring healing to your body, to your soul. But if you don't choose joy, it will bring forth sickness and depression. And I know that's super hard, but that's just the way it is, and I know that in my life, I can choose which way, and in all the pain and the suffering, I have to choose God, choose the joy. And then it talks about how the wicked accept a bribe in secret. And I just want to remind you that God sees everything. He sees everything. He sees what you do in secret. And what you do in secret actually reveals your character. And you may think that people don't see it. They may not see what you do in secret, but it does reveal your character, and people will see your character in everything that you do, and they will know not to trust you. And the wicked will look everywhere for, I guess you would say, for wisdom. They will look everywhere for wisdom, but it's right in front of their face. They won't be able to see it. Whereas a discerning person, a righteous person, a person following after God, receives wisdom, understands wisdom, and sees that it's right in front of their face. But the wicked can look forever and never find it. And so we are to bridle our tongue when under pressure. We are to take control of our tongue and make sure we don't say things that we shouldn't say. So it's better to be silent than to speak. And so wise understanding keeps calm, cool, and collected no matter what. No matter what, keep silent. Because if you can't bring forth love and goodness and discerning words and understanding and, knowledge to other people that is from the Lord, then just keep quiet. Because it'll just make the evil or the wicked more angry, more frustrated, and will speak more lies, and their character, of course, will be revealed. But it's better to hold your tongue than to get into strife. Because if you can keep your mouth closed, that is who will be deemed intelligent, because you are wise to keep your mouth shut.